All right. Well, I will call this meeting of the Executive Committee to order. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Jana Poutre, and I'm the chair of the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture. I'm going to do a quick roll call to confirm commissioner attendance. So when I call your name, don't forget to unmute yourself and say present. Commissioner Bossler?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Frank?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Meza?
Present.
Thank you. Your attendance has been noted. Also joining us today are Commission for Arts and Culture staff, including Executive Director Jonathan Gluss, Chief of Civic Arts Strategies Christine Jones, Interim Arts and Culture Funding Manager Carla Centeno Aguirre, and Project Manager Bel Reza. Before we get into today's agenda, I'm going to ask Bel to run down some guidelines for today's meeting. Bel?
Good morning, everyone. I think you're all fairly familiar at this point, so we'll just do a real quick refresher. Just the members of the public may not now join the meeting as webinar attendees in order to provide public comment in real time. A quick refresher, the control bar at the bottom of your Zoom window. I think you all know the camera icon, activate your video. Please keep it on throughout the meeting. The microphone to mute and unmute, please try to remain on mute unless you are speaking, and use your chat window, keep it open at all times, and use that to signal when you speak. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bel. Let's see, do we have any non-agenda public comment today?
No, we do not, but to those members of the public in attendance, please click the button to raise your hand to indicate that you would like to speak. And actually, we don't have any members of the public in attendance, so we're set, Commissioner Poutre.
All right, very good, thank you. Okay, well, let's start with my report here. First thing is our action item for minutes. This is for January 8th and February 12th committee minutes. Bel, do we have any public comment on this action item?
No, we don't.
Okay. Alrighty. And I hope everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes from these meetings. If anybody would like to make a motion about the minutes, to accept the minutes. Let's see, looking in chat, somebody type speak. Commissioner Bossler?
I move that we accept the minutes from the last meeting.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Hughes, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead. Is there any discussion on these? Okay, seeing none, then we will go ahead and vote. I will call your name and please respond out loud, yay or nay, or abstain. Remember, you don't have to have been at the meeting to vote on these minutes. I'd also like to thank Commissioner Frank for having chaired this meeting that I was not able to attend. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's vote. Commissioner Bossler?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes?
Yeah, and just for the record, I typed, but Commissioner Frank spoke when there was a second.
I see. Okay. Commissioner Meza?
Yay.
Thank you. And Commissioner Frank?
Yay.
Great. And my vote is a yay. So motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Alrighty. Just want to give you a little bit of an update from my chair here. As you know, the panels are underway. We talked about this a little bit in policy and funding this morning. Carla, I want to tell you, doing a wonderful job conducting those panels. Yesterday, I listened all day because I discovered you could listen on your earbuds while you were doing other things. So I highly recommend that for next week. If you're out walking your dog and you want to listen to a panel, it's great. Also want to say that we're kind of getting up to that time where budgets are going to be talked about. Any contact that you have with your city council person. This is a really good time to develop relationships with their staff. If you happen to run into them in your neighborhood, it's important for them to see us as being part of the community all the time and caring about it all the time. So anything along those lines, I think is worth doing at this point. If they're appearing at something in your neighborhood, you know, and you can be there and introduce yourself, that's a good thing. Also want to let you know that Jonathan and I are going to invite Jean Isaacs, who's a local legend. If there's anybody who doesn't know who Jean Isaacs is, please tell me right now, because she's really somebody special. And we're going to invite her to our commission meeting, basically to acknowledge her contributions, to ask her to share with us her perceptions of the arts community in San Diego, and just recognize and acknowledge her many, many contributions to our city's arts community. So I'm excited about that. Let's see, I think that's all for me. Next up, we have committee reports. Do we have any public comment for this, Val?
No, we don't.
All right, great. I'd like to invite Commissioner Bosler to give us an update on policy and funding.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here with you. The Policy and Funding Committee meeting met today at 8:30, and we had a presentation by Sandra Simmons, who is the Executive Director of the Horton Plaza Theaters Foundation. Each year, Sandra provides an update on the Horton Plaza Theaters so that the committee is aware of what's happening with the foundation and the Lyceum. Sandra also discussed the impact of COVID on the Lyceum and its operations, as well as updated us on renovations to the facility taking place right now with funds from the state of California. After Sandra's presentation, Christine Jones gave us a presentation with respect to the newly updated outreach map. As many of you may remember, this time last year, staff launched this map, and it documents the outreach efforts by our city-funded contract partners. Christine walked us through the new map updates, including the landing page, fiscal year 20 page, and histograms. Presentation was very informative, and it's a great way to see the work that our partners are doing throughout the city. And we also had comments with respect to just how much council members appreciate and like this resource, and how we should, I think it was, quote, never, ever, ever, ever get rid of it, end quote. And let's see, during our executive director report, Jonathan Gluss provided an update on fiscal year 22 funding, the picture from the city and what that's going to look like. And he also gave us an update on the current annual panel deliberations, which are taking place this week and next. Next Policy and Funding Committee meeting will occur on April 9th. And at that time, we will review the panel recommendations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Comprehensive report, Commissioner Bosler. Thanks. I noticed Commissioner Frank had asked to speak.
Yes, on funding, I'm just hopeful that, is there any way we could, if someone could make a comment on the projected $300 million that we're going to get from DC for the city in general, and how that affects our funding and our funding projections, which a week ago didn't include that.
Okay, I think I will ask Jonathan, would you be comfortable addressing that when you get to your report?
Absolutely. Happy
All right,
to.
will that work for you, Vernon? Will that be good?
Yes, that would. Thank you.
Great. Good question. All righty, let's see, moving on to public art. Commissioner Meza, do you have anything to report for us today?
Nothing to report. Our March 5th meeting got canceled, but we are having one in April. So nothing to report today.
All right, thank you. And Commissioner Hughes, is there something for us from Advocacy and Outreach?
Advocacy didn't have a meeting this month, but we're planning on one in April. I think April 2nd would be our traditional date. Bell is currently reaching out to all city council member offices to schedule the annual meetings with them, and very excited now to have the heat map as part of the tools that we can bring to bear in those meetings. So thank you, staff, for putting that together, and excited to keep getting back to work.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, next up, Commissioner Nuana is not with us today, so we'll move on to our next action item. Is there any public comment for this item, Belle?
No, there's not.
All right, thank you. Would someone like to make a motion regarding the agenda for our next commission meeting? Oh, come on, don't be shy. Commissioner Hughes?
Motion.
Motion, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, and do we have a second, please? Commissioner Bossler?
I second the motion.
Thank you. All right, is there any discussion on this agenda? Everybody had a chance to take a look at it? All right. I don't see anybody needing to make a comment, so let's go ahead and vote on this. I'll call your name. You will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. So Commissioner Bossler?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Frank?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Meza?
Yay.
Thank you. And my vote is a yay. All right, motion carries. Next up is staff reports. Do we have any public comment for that, Belle?
No, we do not.
Boy, nobody wants to comment today. Okay, thank you. Then I will go ahead and turn this over to Executive Director Jonathan Glass. And Jonathan, when you're giving us your report, will you be mindful of the question that Commissioner Frank had a little bit earlier?
To do so. Great to see everyone. I actually would just like to remind the members of the executive committee who, firstly, great to see you, who don't sit on the policy and funding committee, that you may find it helpful to simply tune in as audience to hear conversations about policy and funding. For example, the heat map is so interesting. And I'm looking at you, Vernon, who loves to see data and loves to know about how we're reaching different parts of the city. We're happy to schedule a time to walk through the map with you one-on-one if you'd like. Otherwise, it is posted on the city's website already. The other thing is, I'd like to give everybody an update on the Challenge Fund. Just reminding you all that we established the Challenge Fund last spring with the San Diego Regional Foundation. The steering committee continues to work in raising funds for the Challenge Fund. Right now, phase 3 is open. Actually, I'm sorry, phase 3 just closed. And phase 3 was open to mid-sized organizations who were organizations that are looking at reopening in a different way. So either risk capital, to think differently about revenue streams, audience development, etc. So those applications are being reviewed right now, and decisions will be made in the next few weeks by an independent panel. We being the commission, do not have a formal role in that, but I, as a staff person, am involved in that. I'm essentially the liaison to the Challenge Fund. So that's exciting that continues. The other thing I'd like to just put out there is the commission as a body hasn't really formally looked at reopening and what's going on around reopening recently. So I'd like to put on probably the April agenda a few speakers that could talk to you all about issues around reopening, especially discipline-specific issues. I know you're all following it in the media, but I thought it would be informative for you all as a formal group to hear updates. So I'd love to hear from you if that sounds interesting. And I'm going to delay for a minute because Vernon stepped away. While Vernon has stepped away, just a question. Are you all interested in kind of a formal update on reopening from various discipline areas?
Yes, please.
Okay. So much going on, it's just really hard to keep track of everything. And especially since the city doesn't have direct purview over this. And then I also mentioned at the policy and funding meeting that there is a lot of good news about funding available to the arts and culture sector overall. Between state funding, the recent 50 million that has been opened up, and then the NEA just announcing 35 million being available. We don't know the details yet of the 135. The first tranche of PPP funding did send some money to the NEA for local arts agencies. We applied and we didn't receive funding. So we'll see if LAAs are eligible. We don't know yet. Specifically regarding the city budget, I honestly don't have anything to report because the news out of Washington is so recent. So stay tuned in the next few weeks. Staff submitted all of our budget information to the chief operating officer, and as the normal process happens, there's deliberations, and then the mayor will review recommendations and make his budget public on and around April 15th. So with this news from Washington, I think a lot of decisions will be made over the next few weeks. Sorry, I don't have more information, but I would imagine within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll have more information. Any questions?
Okay,
Yes,
Jonathan.
ma'am.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Commissioner Bossler?
The only question I have is there any discussion within the city with respect to when folks are coming back to the office?
Yes, there is, and it's very open. It's really based on department structure. So for example, police, fire, they have very different issues. Library staff is some public, some private. So they have limited staff working. When I say working at their work site. The traditional professional departments like ours, we are all still working remotely. We certainly can go in. So we all, at the staff level, we all go in probably once a week. But there is no immediate plans to bring us back in any formal way.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. I will say, to your question, Anne, as I'm sure many of you have found, although we certainly miss being together personally on the informal component, we're working really efficiently.
Mm-hmm. I suspect that's true. I'm hearing that from lots of people, and I'm not working particularly efficiently at home, I'll say that, but There's a big pile of laundry on the guest bed, but still, I can appreciate that that might the fact that you're concentrating on work when you're doing your work, no matter where it is, makes it work out. Okay, Jonathan, are you finished with your report?
I want to make sure that Christine has the opportunity to make any reports. We do have some information about SD practice.
Well, I don't know. With regard to SD practice, we're still in the procurement stage, so we're just kind of finalizing purchases right now. So we'll have more updates in the coming weeks with regards to SD practice. I would just remind everybody that we do have an artist opportunity currently available too. So that is for Bayer Park. If you recall, that is a new park that will be a city capital improvement down in San Ysidro. So there is an artist opportunity which closes on March 25th. So if please, share with your networks. It is on our website. And then lastly, we do have an application or a funding opportunity available for fiscal year 2021 OSP and CCSD organizations that are eligible. And as you recall, that actually closes today, and that is an initiative specifically for relief efforts to help support about 18 organizations out of that. So that panel process will be coming up in the next few weeks, and we'll be able to report out on that in April as well.
Thank you, Christine. Okay, anybody else? Well, then I think we can go ahead and adjourn this meeting, and I will see you all very soon. Next week we have panels, and so I hope that you'll get a chance to stop by and listen in a little bit, and get your shot when you can. That'll do for today. See you all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Stay well.
you.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.
Yes.